video that I put out a couple of days ago, we talked about how two AI models broke out of a test environment, found a zero-day vulnerability that nobody knew existed, and then hacked a company that had nothing to do with the test. This isn't a one-off, guys. This was a preview, and today we're actually going to be zooming out on what actually changes about cybersecurity when the attacker isn't a person anymore, why it's just doing what a hacker would do, undersells what's coming, and what you need to do right now to protect your own stuff. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where the real risk sits and what you can do about it. Let's get into it. All right, so quick recap for anyone who skipped the last video. If you did, you can go back and watch it. I'll link that in the end cards, but just TLDR, OpenAI's models broke out of a sandbox, found a vulnerability nobody had flagged, and used it to hack Hugging Face's production servers to steal answers to a benchmark, and nobody told the AI to do that. They just decided it was the fastest path to a better score on their test. Now, if you watched that and thought, okay, wild story, one weird incident, moving on, that is a mistake that I would like to correct today, because that breach isn't an outlier. It's the third or even fourth version of the same story this year alone, and once you line them up next to each other, a pattern starts to show, and it's a lot bigger than just one lab's bad week. And so here's the thing that nobody's saying loudly enough. This has already happened before with a different company at a different scale, and it barely made headlines outside security circles. In November of last year, Anthropic disclosed that a Chinese state-sponsored group had hijacked Claude Code, which is their coding assistant, and used it to run an espionage campaign against roughly 30 organizations, banks, chemical manufacturers, tech companies, government agencies, the whole nine. The trick that they used to get the AI to cooperate is almost funny in how simple it is. They told Claude that it was a security employee running authorized penetration tests, and then broke the actual attack into a pile of very small, boring-looking tasks so that no single request looked malicious. Now, you look up this server, you can check this port and write a script that does this one specific thing, so none of it actually screamed attack in isolation. And here's the number that I think should stop you dead in your tracks. 80 to 90% of the operation was run by the AI itself. Human operators only stepped in at 4 to maybe 6 decision points across the entire campaign. That's not a hacker with just a faster keyboard and typey skills. That's a hacker who only has to show up 6 times at the most and lets the AI handle the other few thousand steps in between. Now, if this was like the espionage version, July gave us the criminal version. Security researchers documented an AI agent called Jade Puffer running a full ransomware attack completely on its own with no human directing it in real time. Not AI helped write the ransomware, AI ran the whole operation start to finish. And then a few months earlier, researchers caught an agent compromising an exposed notebook server through a specific vulnerability, and then working through the entire kill chain on its own, harvesting cloud credentials, routing around IP blocks by fanning requests through cloud workers, pulling a private key out of a secrets manager, using that key to pivot to another server, and exfiltrating a full database beginning to end. Guess how long that took? A day? Maybe? No, under an hour for a chain of steps that would have taken a skilled human team a full day of careful, quiet work. Dang, we might be screwed, guys. Now, there is something I want to push back on just a little bit. It's actually my own framing. When I started researching this, my thought was that really the AI is basically just a human hacker, but it's better and can go faster. And I kind of thought the data would support that, but it only sort of does. And so I'm going to push back on my own idea, because the truth is that it undersells what's actually different here. So security researchers have a term for the time between a vulnerability when it gets discovered and when it gets exploited, and that's called breakout time. Because before any of this agentic stuff came about, that number was already dropping pretty quickly. CrowdStrike's 2025 report put the average e-crime breakout at 48 minutes, and the fastest recorded case was 51 seconds. Now, overlay autonomous agents onto that, you have one threat intelligence firm tracking dark web activities, and they describe that's happening as vulnerability to exploit windows compressing from months down to minutes, and pointed to something just as important. This capability isn't staying locked inside expensive frontier labs anymore. Threat actors are pivoting to self-hosted, less restricted open source models to do this work, which means the barrier to running one of these attacks keeps dropping and dropping significantly. So to put it plainly, it's not just that the AI can do what a human hacker can do, it's that the time the defender has to notice, patch, and respond is collapsing toward zero, and the number of people who can point one of these things at a target is going up while the skill required to do it is going down. That's one part of the added nuance that I found in my research here. So one tracking firm estimated that AI-enabled attacks are up 89% this year, with autonomous agents now involved in roughly 1 out of every 8 AI-related breaches. Now, the other part that I found in my research is hopefully going to help, because before this turns into a doom spiral, Hugging Face didn't catch the OpenAI breach because a human noticed something off in a log file. They caught it because their own AI-driven anomaly detection flagged the pattern, and their team ran AI-assisted analysis over more than 17,000 recorded events to reconstruct what happened. Granted, the AI that they were using wouldn't let them do it, so they had to go to a Chinese one, which is a whole separate problem that we could probably talk about in a different video. But to have just a human run through 17,000 recorded events when time is of the essence here, something's in your system, something's doing something maliciously, the AI can do that significantly faster. Hugging Face's CEO even said on social media that the whole thing was mind-blowing, that it happened entirely on its own, and that his company didn't believe there was any malicious intent behind that initial hack this time, right? So you look at it, we have the same tool doing the opposite job. The thing that can autonomously chain 0-day is the same category of thing that can autonomously catch one. This is genuinely a defenders can fight back with the same weapon type of situation, which is so much more than you can say for most cybersecurity shifts in the past. Now, here's my actual read on this. I don't think we're really heading towards some sci-fi scenario where AI goes rogue and there's literally nothing anyone can do about it. Every single one of these incidents, the OpenAI, the Jade Puffer, the espionage campaign, they all got detected, they all got studied, they all got written up in enough detail that defenders know exactly what happened and how. That's not containment failing completely, that's containment working after the fact, which might not sound different, but it actually is very different and much less scary than the headlines want you to believe. But I also think it's basically fine, it's just a faster hacker kind of framework that I initially thought would be this video. That take is just a little too comfortable, because the entire economics of security was always built around the assumption that attackers are limited, human, and slow enough for defenders to have a fighting chance. Take that assumption away, and every piece of just good enough security hygiene stops being good enough. The stuff you could get away with skipping because a human attacker probably wouldn't bother, well, an agent doesn't get bored. It doesn't need to sleep. It doesn't need to be an expert to try the thing that works. So the future isn't AI fully replacing security professionals. It is a future, though, where I think the gap between people who take basic security seriously and the people who don't get punished faster and harder than it used to. And honestly, yeah, it's kind of already been true. This just turns that speed up to like 1 million. Now, like I promised, I'd give you some ways to make yourself safe. So we'll get into that. If you run anything online, like a channel, a side project, a small business, a home lab, here's an actual checklist of things that you can do to help prevent the next AI bot agent from trying to hack your crap. First, you're going to want to rotate your credentials on a schedule, not just when something breaks. API keys, access tokens, passwords. Hugging Face's own advice, even to users after their breach, was to rotate their access tokens and review account activity, and that's good advice whether or not you are anywhere near this specific incident. You want to use phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication, so passkeys or hardware keys. You want to choose those over SMS codes. SMS codes can be intercepted. A physical key or passkey can't be phished the same way. So something like if you have a UB key, you know, this little key that you plug into your computer and it can read your thumbprint, or if you have something like a Google Authenticator where you get this little code and you have to type the code in, things like that, right? You're also going to want to give every tool and integration the least access it actually needs and nothing more. So if a plugin, an agent, or a service only needs read access, don't hand it write access just in case, because that just in case is exactly the kind of gap these attacks just walk right through. And patch fast, not eventually. So when the window between a vulnerability going public and someone exploiting it is measured in minutes or even seconds, I'll get to it next week, isn't security posturing anymore. We really need to get on top of this stuff a lot faster. And you can hone your craft. So in a couple of different ways. You're going to want to learn how this stuff actually works instead of just trusting a tool to handle it for you. The people who understand what a credential leak actually looks like, what a weird login pattern actually means, are the ones who are going to catch the problems, maybe even before an agent, human directed or not. But at the same time, these agents can do everything so much faster than we can. And if the baddies are going to be using them to try and hack you, you need to learn how to work with the AI. I know some of us in this tech space, we're very adamant about not ever touching AI. I'm sorry to rip this band-aid off. You're gonna need to get over that if you are kind of in this cybersecurity space where you give a crap about cybersecurity, because you're never gonna be faster or smarter than the bot, okay? So build those skills up as well. Don't ignore both those pieces. We need both pieces of the puzzle to make a really good cyber defender. The future is going to be more AI heavy than most people are going to be comfortable with, and that much I don't think is up for debate anymore. But every single incident we covered today got caught, studied, and explained. The tools are getting faster on both sides of this, and the side that stays human working with AI, not humans replaced by it, is the side that does appear to be holding up. Now, if this connected some dots for you, go ahead and hit that like button. It actually helps this stuff reach more people who need to hear it. If you think I got something wrong or I'm missing a piece of this, tell me in the comments below. I'd rather get called out and get it right than have it sit there and be wrong. Now, if you're new here, this channel covers tech, AI, coding, and a little bit of gaming news when it's relevant, and a lot of let's actually understand what's happening instead of panicking about it. So subscribe if that's your thing. However, if you don't subscribe, I might be forced to banish you to the Shadow Realm.
No, much better.
Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace out. Bye.